So today I'm going to discuss one problem, something about indifference curves. So I'll also send a write up to you. I prepared a three or four page note. So I'll send this note to you. Okay. Now remember that when we were interpreting the derivatives, dy dx is the slope of a function. And the second derivative is the curvature of the function. Okay, the slope can be positive or negative. The curvature can be convex or it can be concave. So this will be negative and this is positive. Okay. Now I want to discuss one result with you today about indifference curves. We see that indifference curves are convex to the origin. So indifference curves are like this. And or even before that, this is actually the second slope. They have a negative slope and they are convex to the origin. Now, why are indifference curves negatively sloped? Can you prove that they are negatively sloped? See, the utility function is given by
Sir, here d2 by dx square should be greater than 0 for convex, right?
Yes, that was I was thinking.
oh, I've written both of them positive.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I was
Both
waiting
of
for
them
someone.
negative.
both of them negative. Okay. Okay, so if you take the total differential, this will be okay. So basically, this means the change in utility is equal to. I'm just writing this part. Okay. So dx1 is the change in consumption of x1 and u1 is the change in utility due to change in x1, and plus this is for the same thing for x2. Okay. So a change in utility can occur because x1 changes and this changes utility level, or x2 changes and this changes utility level, or both can change. Now if you move along the indifference curve, so let us say we are moving from here to here. So what is happening is we are increasing the consumption of x1, we are decreasing the consumption of x2. What will be the change in utility?
So could you repeat it once again?
Suppose we are moving from a point like A to a point like B. What is the change in utility?
So
Will
indifferent.
utility increase or will it go up?
No, sir.
Or
So it will remain the same.
why?
So because that's the property of an indifference curve.
Yes, sir. The in a
Yeah,
same IC curve, the utility remains constant.
yeah, U is equal to U bar along an indifference curve. So therefore, this del U is 0. Sorry, du is 0, right? So we can simply write this in this way. Actually, এটা আমার উল্টো হয়ে গেছে anyway. So this is the slope of the indifference curve, and you can see that this is equal to u1 and u2. Now what is u1? It is the marginal utility of x1, and this is the marginal utility of x2. Okay. Now the assumption of that we follow is the marginal utility is positive. So therefore, this will be negative. And intuitively also, you can justify this, why it is negatively sloped. I think MT ma'am has discussed the how indifference curves are drawn, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So suppose we are at a point like this. Okay, so we are at a point A. This is A. Now, what does the axiom of greed say? What is the axiom of greed or dominance? It says that more of a commodity is always preferred. Okay. So that means if I move like this, what is happening?
So x1 is increasing.
If I move up like this,
x2.
X2 is increasing.
x2 is increasing. And if I'm at this zone, both x1 and x2 have increased. Okay. So that means all these points are better off points. Okay. What about this zone? What we call the southwest zone,
So worst.
southwest quadrant. These are not preferred to. These are worse off. Now, what is an indifference curve? They are points which are equally preferred by the consumer. So, if you think of another point B on the indifference curve, can it be on this part or this part? Can B be over here or here when A and B lies on the same indifference curve?
No, sir.
Okay. What about here, these zones? Let us say a point like this or a point like this. Are they better than A or are they worse than A? Well, we don't know. This is the zone of ignorance. Has MD discussed the derivation of indifference curve with you?
Yes.
Yes?
So I guess she has done the slope of the
Yes,
indifference
sir.
curve.
So she has
Now,
discussed this part,
yeah,
derivation of indifference curve.
yeah.
This part has not been discussed, like the zero of ignorance and stuff. This better and worse part has not been discussed.
But the derivative is done, sir.
Yeah, derivative is done.
No,
Okay.
this part is also done, but like so she didn't said
Drawing one line from
zone
the
of
No,
normal
she
ignorance.
might use a different terminology, like Green uses,
superior
I think,
zone and
axiom of
inferior
Green.
zone.
Superior and inferior zone.
Yeah, so instead of better, she can use superior, inferior, we are ignorant, whatever. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
just.
that we have done. Like from this part to this part, it is indifferent. It's from northwest to southeast. It is indifferent.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just very quickly, I'll just go through this. So this is superior, this is inferior, and this is the zone of ignorance. Okay, so we don't know whether a point over here is better off than A or not. Okay, any point in S is better. Is preferred to A. A is preferred to any point in the inferior zone. Okay. But we cannot see a priori. A priori means beforehand whether points like C and D, whether they are preferred to A or A is preferred to C or D, or whether we are indifferent to between C and A and C. Okay, so we don't know what is the how to rank these 3 points. They can be anything depending on exactly their position. Okay. So this is what the axiom of greed says. Then we incorporate the axiom of continuity. Okay, so what continuity does, it takes a point like this. Okay. Let me call this L1. Okay. And I'm calling this Ln. See, what is the ranking? What is, if you look at A and L, which is better? A is preferred to L1. Okay. If I call this L2, A is preferred to L2 and L3. Okay. A is preferred to L3. Now, let us look at this. So that means as we are moving up like this,
Sir, question.
yeah.
So how is A preferred to L3 out there?
Oh, sorry. Oh, Hantama.
Yes.
No, this was a careless mistake. Okay. So L3. See, so as we are moving up this line, see, note the following points. Firstly, all points can be ranked with respect to A. So if we take a point on this line, let us say Li, either Li is preferred to A or A is preferred to that point Li, or we are indifferent between the 2 points, right?
Well, what have you written over here? Cannot.
Where is cannot? This is can be ranked.
No, sir. Over here,
Oh,
third line. Cannot.
sorry. এখানে cannot say a priori. A priori means beforehand or without further information. Just by looking at it, just hold on. হ্যালো, হ্যাঁ আমার একটু তাড়াতাড়ি বলো, আমার ক্লাস আছে, ক্লাস চলছে এখন। হ্যাঁ, শুরু করে দাও। তুমি আগে একটা স্ট্রাকচার তৈরি করে আমাকে পাঠাও, তারপরে লিখে দাও। আর তুমি আরেকটা জিনিস সেটা করো, একটা এক্সেল শিটে তুমি আপাতত যে 3টে চ্যাপ্টার লিখেছো, তুমি ওই চ্যাপ্টারগুলোর এই সেকশন সাবসেকশনগুলো পরপর সাজিয়ে দিও। মানে তুমি যেটা করো, ফার্স্ট কলামে তুমি চ্যাপ্টার হেডিংটা দেবে, সেকেন্ড কলামে তুমি সেকশন হেডিং দেবে, আর থার্ড কলামগুলোতে সাবসেকশন হেডিংগুলো দেবে। মানে চ্যাপ্টার 1টা শুরু করলে চ্যাপ্টার 1 লিখলে, তারপরে তুমি নিচেরটাতে ওই তোমার চ্যাপ্টার 1-এর প্রথম সেকশন দিলে, থার্ড কলামে তুমি যে কটা সাবসেকশন আছে সেগুলো সব লিখলে পরপর নিচে একটার পর একটা, তারপর আবার তুমি সেকেন্ড কলামে ফেরত চলে গেলে, পরে সেকেন্ড সেকশনটা দিলে। যদি বুঝতে না পারো, আমি 6টার সময় তোমাকে একবার পাঠিয়ে দিচ্ছি, ওইটা একটু করে রাখবে। ওটা পরে করলেও চলবে, তুমি আমাকে স্ট্রাকচারটাকে পাঠিয়ে দেবে। সরি, I got confused. হ্যাঁ, মানে You were asking, okay, was your question answered? Okay. Okay, so as we are moving from a point along this line, all points can be ranked. Okay. Now, continuity says that if I take a point, let us say Li, then I can find another point near Li, which is equivalent to Li. Okay. So that means I can find another point, let us say Lj, such that Li and Lj are indifferent. So there will be a similar ranking. Okay. Sorry, no, sorry, not this. Sorry, not this. Wait. আচ্ছা একটু ওয়েট করো, আমি এটা লিখে রাখি। Have to send something, I'd better write it down. Otherwise I'll forget and I can't concentrate. Okay. কোথায় গেল? Sorry. So basically what this means is that suppose there's a particular ranking. Suppose I prefer A to Li. Then close to Li, I can find another point such that A is preferred to Lj. Or if the opposite holds, that is Li is preferred to Ai, then I can find another point Lj such that Lj is preferred to Ai. Okay. Okay, now as I'm moving like this, see all these points are preferred to Li. A is preferred to all points over here, right? A is preferred to L1, A is preferred to another point over here, points like this. So beyond L2 also, I can find some points such that A is preferred to points like these. On the other hand, suppose I come like this. So here points like these are preferred to A. So as I come like this, I can find points. So this is very clear, but over here, I should get some points like these, which are preferred to A. Okay. So let me write it down. So over here, I'll get some points such as Lj is preferred to A. And over here, I'm going to get some points such that Lj is preferred to A. So if I have continuous preference, the time was come, there must be so at some point there's a switch. Okay. So I'm switching from L. I've written the same. Okay. So points like these are inferior to A. But when I move up the line, I'm going to have points which are superior to A. Okay. So at some point, there has to be a switch. So this is the switchover point. So that means if I have continuous preferences, then what will happen is that at some point when I'm moving up this line, I'm going to get a point where A is indifferent to Lj. Okay, so the indifference curve must be the second point of the indifference curve, what I'm calling B, must be somewhere in the zone of ignorance. Similarly, if I take another point like this, another line like this, see all these points are worse off than A. These points are better off than A. So again at some point I will get another point B where you're having the transition. So points below this are inferior to A, points above this are superior to A. So this is the switchover point where A is and B are indifferent. So the indifference curve must pass through, sorry, it's not very well drawn, must pass through points like these. Okay. Did you understand this or will I repeat it?
Got it, sir.
Okay. Okay. So far as this.
The last page back. Thank you.
Where is it?
Just 1 minute.
Okay.
Done.
হয়ে গেছে তাই তো?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So the slope of IC is negative, that is dx2 by dx1 is negative. This can be proved easily either using intuition or simply by assuming that u1 and u2 are both positive. Now we also assume, okay, we also have something to say about the curvature of indifference curves. The curvatures are said to be convex to the origin. Okay, now this is something which has to be understood a little bit carefully. See, if you look at the theory of consumer behavior, the theory started from Alfred Marshall in 1890. when he wrote Principles of Economics. Now, Marshall had said and laid down a law which is called law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay. So this basically says that if you look at consumption, and this is total utility and this is marginal utility, utility will be 0. So as you increase consumption, your utility will go from 0 to 10. But if you increase consumption by another unit, your utility will go up. But the additional utility, the marginal utility, is going to fall. So it has gone up, but look at the increase. This was 10, this is now only 7. It falls again. So total utility is going up, but if you look at the rate of increase, that is gradually falling. It is something like the marginal product curve. So what is happening is your total utility will go up, goes up like this. This is your marginal utility. This should be over touching over here. Okay, so this is the law of diminishing marginal utility, that if the consumer increases consumption, then total utility will increase, but at a diminishing rate. Or in other words, marginal utility will fall. Okay. So how do we write this mathematically? If we take U, this is the marginal utility and this is supposed to be positive. But if we take the second utility, this is the change in marginal utility, and this is assumed to be negative because it is falling. As consumption is going up, your marginal utility is falling. Okay. Now note the difference from the earlier case. আমরা ওখানে আমরা কি করেছিলাম, আমরা dx2 by dx1 নিয়েছিলাম। এখানে কিন্তু এটা হচ্ছে du del u by del x1. Okay, this is u with respect to x1, and this was what we had done earlier when we are looking at the indifference curves. Okay, so Marshall says, lay down these assumptions. So in other words, u1 and u2 will be positive, but if we take the second derivative, they will be negative. Okay. আচ্ছা। Okay. Now let us come to the ordinal theory of Sir John Higgs. Okay. So this is based on the theory of indifference curves. Now Higgs said one of the assumptions of Higgs's theory was that he discarded the Marshallian assumption of the Marshallian law of diminishing marginal utility. And he replaced this with the assumption of diminishing marginal substitute. The law of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Now, what is this marginal rate of substitution? It is simply the slope of the indifference curve. It is equal to dx2 by dy, which we have already shown to be, sorry, এটা তোমার u1 হবে। Okay. So what he was saying that the slope is going to decrease. So if the slope decrease, that means this must be এটা okay. So this is by assumption. Remember that you cannot prove an assumption. Higgs assumed that the MRS decreases if you increase consumption of a commodity. So in other words, as you are moving down like this, the slope of the indifference curve will decrease. So the IC will become flatter as we increase x1. Okay.
So,
Yes.
are we finding the curvature out there like d squared
Yes.
d2x? Yes.
Yes, this is the curvature.
Yes.
So that means the indifference curve, so this implies that the indifference curves must be convex to the origin. Okay. Because if you have concave, for instance, if you have concave like this, what is happening to slope? The slope indifference, as we move like this, the indifference curve is actually becoming steeper. Okay. If it was a straight line, slope remains same. So if we assume that this if we assume that the marginal rate of substitution is diminishing, indifferent curves must be convex to the origin. Okay, so the assumption of diminishing MRS implies convex indifference curves. Okay. Is it clear? Okay. Now, people started arguing that, okay, Higgs has made this assumption, Higgs has discarded MRS, but should we really discard MRS? Okay. So let us look into this question a little bit carefully. So we have over here an indifference curve, and let us take a point over here. Sorry. Okay, I wanted to do something, I did cut. Anyway, not to worry. So this is, so over here, oh, I've got del x1, and let us assume that for simplicity that it is equal to 1 unit. What is this? This is del x2. Okay. So what is the slope when we move from A to B? The slope is given by del y, which is del x2 by del x1. If you assume that del x2 for simplicity is equal to 1, it simply becomes del x2. Okay. Now, let us again increase x1 by 1 unit. Okay. So, Okay, so this and this is roughly equal. This is again 1 unit. But look at what has happened to del x2. Okay, so what I'm basically saying is, as I move from A to B and I move from B to C, my del x1 is equal to 1, whether I move from A to B or from B to C. But when I'm moving from A to B, look at del x2, which is larger. Which is larger? This del x2 is larger. Graphically, can you see? Just graphically, from the nature of the, because the function is convex. This is larger. So if I look at del x2 by del x1, if I just increase x1 by 1 unit, that this part is always, I'm setting this part equal to 1 unit always. But as I'm going down, what is happening to del x2? Del x2 is coming down. So what will happen to slope? The denominator is always equal to 1. It is same. And what is happening to del x2? The numerator, it is falling. So what will happen to slope? As I'm coming down like this,
Decrease.
the slope is going to fall. Okay. Achha. Now,
So
yes.
so out there, how BC is like larger? So del x2. So AB should be larger, no?
Yeah. Okay. Now let us bring in the law of diminishing marginal utility over here. We are introducing this into the analysis. So when we are starting from A, our consumption of x2 let's not go into this. Okay, so we start from A and we move to B. Now what does this imply? x1 goes up and x2 comes down. Okay, so if x1 goes up, by this law of diminishing utility, what will happen to u1?
Then go down.
What will happen to u2? This is mu. If I move like this, what is happening to mu? It is falling. If I move like this, what will happen to mu?
Rising.
u2 is going to rise. Marginal utility is going to go up. Okay. Now remember that the slope of the indifference curve is ignore the negative part. This implies it's negatively sloped. Okay. Right. So as we are moving from A to B, as we're moving down the curve, what is happening to u1?
decreasing.
It is decreasing. What is happening to u2? It is going up. So what will happen to the slope? Will it increase or will it decrease in absolute terms?
Decrease.
Okay. So if we assume that diminishing marginal utility holds, okay, then automatically we can establish that the indifference curve will be convex to the origin. Because this decrease implies convex to the indifference curves are convex to the origin. Okay, so is this part clear? Just think about it. Look at it carefully.
Sir,
Right? Is there anything wrong with what I've said?
sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Sir, I didn't understand the part that there is decrease in slope in absolute terms. Can you please explain it again?
দেখো এইখানে what have I shown? As I'm moving from A down the indifference curve, what is happening to the consumption of x1? Do you understand what is happening to the consumption of
Sir,
x1?
AB is greater than BC.
না না এবিবিসির কথা আমি বলছি না, আমি সিম্পলি বলছি যে অ্যাজ আই মুভিং ডাউন লাইক দিস, what is happening to the consumption, what is happening to x1?
Sir, X1 rises.
Okay, so if x1 rises, what will happen to u1, marginal utility?
It will fall.
Acha. Now as I'm moving down like this, what has happened to x2?
Sir, it falls.
So what will happen to marginal utility of the
It
second commodity?
rises. It
It will
rises.
rise. Now the slope is dx2 by dx1, which
Yes,
is
sir.
equal to minus.
Now I have understood. Yes.
ঠিক
sir.
আছে, এটা বাড়ছে, এটা this the numerator is falling, the denominator is rising.
Okay, sir. In absolute terms, it decreases. Okay,
Yes.
sir. Thank you.
If I just focus on this part, ignoring the minus sign, then
Yes, sir.
the term is going down. u1 by u2 is going down.
I did not ignore the minus sign, so I was confused.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so that means it seems that if I assume diminishing marginal utility, this is automatically leading to convex indifference curves. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So in that case, can we criticize Hicks, who said that we don't require the law of diminishing marginal utility? Apparently, Hicks is wrong. Now let us look at this a little bit again in a different way. suppose the law of diminishing marginal utility does not hold for x1. So as we increase the consumption of x1, what happens to u1? u1 will rise. The law of diminishing utility says that u1 should fall. If it doesn't hold, then that means u1 must rise, or it will remain same. Let us assume that it rises. Okay. Okay. So as we are moving down from A to B, x1 is rising, x2 is falling. What will happen to x2? Marginal utility will rise. But over here, what is going to happen to u1? If the law doesn't hold, this is also going to rise. So now what is the slope of the IC? The slope is okay. Now suppose this double arrow means that u2 increases sharply. u1 also increases, but it increases less. So what has happened is u1 increases, u2 also increases, but it increases more. So what will happen now to the slope in absolute terms?
Absolute value will decrease because U2 is increasing more than U1.
Okay, I'm not writing in absolute terms. I hope you can remember. So we can see that even if the law of diminishing marginal utility does not hold, even then we can have a convex indifference curve. The slope is going to decrease as I move from a point like A to B. Right? So I'm getting the same result as before, even by discarding the law of diminishing marginal utility. Right?
So,
Yes.
so like U1 is increasing and even U2 is increasing. No, sir. How is it becoming decreasing? Like,
No, I'm saying I'm making this assumption. U2 is increasing more.
yes, sir, got it, sir. Then after that, sir. So like you have written so minus U1 increases once and
Ignore the
by
minus sign. Ignore the minus sign, okay?
yes,
Otherwise,
sir.
I'll have to write in absolute terms repeatedly.
Yes, sir.
Ignore the minus sign. So U1 is going up a little bit. Let us say U1 goes up from, let us suppose it is 5 and 7, okay? I increase the numerator slightly, 5 plus 1. This I increase a lot.
Oh, yes, sir. Got it, sir. Got it, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's check the opposite case also. Suppose the law of diminishing marginal utility does not hold for x2. So this implies that x2 increases, u will increase, and if x2 falls, what will happen to u2?
It will
Fall.
It is also going to fall. Okay, now let us again go back to AB. x1 has gone up. Now x1 follows the law of diminishing utility, so u1 falls. What has happened to x2? x2 has fallen. What will happen to u2?
Fall.
It is also going to fall. Okay, now let us assume that u1 falls by a large amount. Okay. Okay, now both of them has fallen, but this has fallen more. So what will happen to slope in absolute terms?
It's a decrease.
So again we get the same result. So even without assuming the law of diminishing marginal utility, we can still get this result. That if I move from a point like A to B, if I move down the indifference curve, my slope is going to decrease. Okay? So then the question is, so over here, I had said that if I assume the law of diminishing marginal utility, if the law of diminishing marginal utility holds, then indifferent curves will become convex to the origin. Okay, the slope will decrease as I move down the curve. But now I see that I don't require this law. Higgs was right in discarding this law. I don't require it. Without assuming this, that this law holds, I can show under certain cases that the indifference curve is convex to the origin. As I move down from A to a point like B, the slope is going to decrease in absolute terms. Okay. Now, we can prove this also mathematically. So, it's a more complex derivation. Let's see. Enough of brown. Okay, we had shown this before. Now let us take the second derivative. So this is a u by v format. So this will be okay. I think I'd better show it. So this is what I have written so far. So this part is kept out. এখানেই দেখিয়ে দিচ্ছি। Okay, I'll do this part. You will have to find out what is this part. Okay, so this is u2. Now, when dx1 changes, u1 will change. So this is, we can write this as u12. The other way is when dx1 changes, then dx2 changes, and when dx2 changes, then u1 will change. What is this term? This is u12. And what is this term? Minus u1 by u2. So okay, is it clear?
Sir, the third line.
This line.
Yes, sir, the third line. Yes, sir. The second part.
Okay, so this is the expression, right? Now just separate out. Think of it in this way. This is when x2 changes, what is, how is u1 changing? Oh, sorry, I've made a mistake. It should be ও আমি তো এইটা বলছি, হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে, this is right. Okay, so this is u12. We can write this as u12, right? And what is dx2 by dx1? This. Right?
Yes, sir. No, sir. I mean that line.
Huh.
Sir, how you got
Which
like
line?
u11 plus du1 and all?
This one. This
Yes,
line.
sir, that line. Yes, sir.
See, u2 are brought over here. So I have to basically write out this term.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now if x1 changes, okay, I want to see how u1 is changing. When x1 is changing, you have a direct effect on u1. This is u11. Okay, the other change is indirect. When x1 changes, because we are on the indifference curve, x2 will change, and this will lead to a change in u1. See, x1 changes, so x2 changes. So what is the impact of a change in x2 on u1? Okay, so this is the direct effect, this is the indirect effect via x2.
Yes, sir.
Now let us come to the second part. Okay, let's finish this part first. So this is u1, u2. This is u1, 2, u1, and this u2 and u2 cancels out. Right? Now tell me what is this term? সৌপর্ণ, তুমি বলো তো, can you help me out? If dx1 changes, how do we write this in a similar way? Again, we can think of it in this way. There's a direct effect on, sorry, this is u2. And what is the indirect effect? x2 will change. This will lead to a change in u2. Okay. So what is this direct effect?
So U21.
u21 আচ্ছা তারপরে
Plus
this effect
du2 by dx2, not dx2 by dx1.
okay. So what is this?
U22.
Yes, and this is
U1 by U2.
thank you. So we have to remove the
U1 by U2.
minus, this has to be, this will become plus, minus. আচ্ছা তাহলে এখানে this is u1 into u21. আচ্ছা this becomes plus u22 into u1 whole square by u2. Okay. So what we can do is we can take this u2 out also. In that case, it will become cube. So over here, u11, this will become u2 square. This will become u1, u2, u12. This will become u1. U2 will now have to come, and this will become u21. And this is u22. Okay. Achha. Now, there's a theorem called Young's theorem. I'll prove this later, which says that u12 is equal to u21. So that means this term and this term are same. Okay, so we can simply write this as minus 2 u1 u2. Okay. আচ্ছা now this condition must be satisfied for the indifference curve to be convex. Okay. Acha. Now, this means, see, what is the value of U2? U2 is positive. So that means the Q will also be positive. So this part is positive, but I have a minus sign. So then this part within the curly brackets, this must be negative, right? So this is negative, this is positive, and I have the minus sign. So it will become positive. So basically what I require is this should be negative. So for indifference curves to be convex to the origin, this is the relevant condition. Okay. Okay. Now let us consider two cases. Suppose the law of diminishing marginal utility holds. So this means U11 and U22 are both negative. Okay. Let us look into this term. So this is negative and this is positive. Achha, what is U1, U2?
So U1 is positive and U2 is negative, I guess.
No, it's single. Remember U1 and U2, both of them are positive.
Oh, yes, sir.
So now have I said anything about U12? Nothing. So I'm keeping this as U12. What is U22? It is negative. What is U1 square? It is positive. Okay. So this part is negative. So just the positive, which I don't need. And this is also negative. Okay. Now, look at this carefully. If I add, I've got three terms over here. This is T1 and this is T3. And I'm calling this T2. Okay. Now T1 and T3 are both negative. So if I add them, I'm going to get a negative sign. Now, the question is, what is T2? What is T2? Okay. See, this part is positive. Suppose U12 is negative. Then what will be the sign of this? See, this minus and minus, it becomes plus. So T2 is positive. So what is this term now? This is negative. If this is sufficiently large enough, what will be the sign of this entire expression, T1, T2, T3?
plus.
Positive.
This is positive. But so what we have shown is that if the law of diminishing marginal utility holds, okay, then under certain circumstances, if u12 is positive and if u12 is negative and sufficiently large, then this term is positive. So can indifference curve be convex to the origin? They cannot be convex to the origin. They are violating the definition of convexity. Okay. So what I've shown over here is this is the important part. Even if the law of diminishing marginal utility holds, indifferent curves may not be convex if u12 is negative and if okay. So even if the law of diminishing marginal utility holds, indifferent curves may not be convex. So this implies that the law of diminishing marginal utility is not a sufficient condition for convexity. Okay. I'll come to the next part, but and end the class. But have you followed this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Others?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I come to the next part. Suppose the law of diminishing marginal utility does not hold. So in other words, they are positive. Let us see what happens. Remember that this should be negative. Okay. What is u11? It is positive. This is also positive. Two. U1 is positive, U2 is positive, and I don't know about U12. What is U22? positive and positive. Okay. So this is positive. If I break it up like this, T1, T3, and hence T1, T3 are positive. Okay. What about T2? See, this term is positive, this is positive. Let us suppose that U12 is positive. In that case, what do we have? -2 plus plus, this is also plus. So this entire part is negative. So T1 is positive, then I have a negative term, then I have a positive term. If this part is sufficiently large enough, in fact, if this is larger than T1 plus T2, T1 plus T3, then this will be negative. This negative sign will dominate T1 plus T3. Okay. So you're going to be, this second bracket will be, the term within the second bracket will be negative. So even if the law of diminishing marginal utility does not hold, okay, I'm still able to derive convex indifference curves. Provided these conditions are satisfied. This and this. Okay, so this implies that the law of diminishing marginal utility is not a necessary condition for the convexity of indifferent curves. And if I combine with the earlier statement, then the law of diminishing marginal utility is neither necessary nor sufficient for indifferent curves to be convex. I just require the law of diminishing marginal rate of substitution. That's all. Okay. So any questions about this? Okay, I'll send this note to you, but please go through it today. Don't wait for tomorrow, because what will happen is you will forget the logic. So I'm closing this.
Okay, sir. So we'll follow the note with your recordings while you send it.
হ্যাঁ, আমি রিটেন নোটটাও তোমাদের পাঠিয়ে দিচ্ছি।
Yes.
আর এটাও দেখো, কিন্তু নোটটা তোমরা আজকে একবার পড়ে নিও। ট্রাই টু ওয়ার্ক আউট দ্য ডেরিভেশন অন ইয়োর ওন। Do it once, you don't have to remember it, but do it once. If you don't understand any step, ask me in the next day.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
If you don't do it now, if you wait till, let's say, 1 week, you're going to